tonight on NewsCenter. President Park Geun-hye wraps up a three-day historic state visit to Iran, which included a first-ever bilateral summit with the Iranian president and a rare meeting with the supreme leader of that country. Hundreds of business leaders from Korea and Iran get together to make good on the over 60 deals on direct investment, trade, infrastructure, healthcare, culture, and ICT. And a three-term lawmaker is named the new floor leader of the ruling Saenuri Party. The main opposition postpones making that decision to later this year, and the minor opposition is already getting things started with a veteran politician leading the party. NewsCenter begins right now. It's 9 in Washington, 5:30 in the afternoon in Tehran, and 10 on a Tuesday evening here in Seoul. Hello and welcome to our viewers all across the globe. You're watching Arirang News Center. Now let's begin in Tehran. President Park Geun-hye is wrapping up a historic state visit to Iran this Monday night, ending a non-stop 50-hour-long summit diplomacy in the Persian country. She did not leave any stone unturned, laying the foundation for strong bilateral relations in all sectors. Diplomatic cooperation, check. Business ties, check. Cultural as well as people-to-people exchange, check. Our Chung Jin-suk is traveling with the presidential press corps, and she will be taking off from Tehran very shortly, but is squeezing in this connection with us. She's done a whole lot of work done in such a short stay.
Good evening, Ganyang. Korea's first state visit to Iran in 54 years was done in over in just 50 hours, but it could have hardly gone any better. President Park Geun-hye did not waste a single minute, taking step after step to upgrade bilateral relations in all ways possible. A staggering $37 billion worth of deals to upgrade Iran's infrastructure were signed under the comprehensive partnership agreed between Presidents Park and Rouhani. In their first joint statement, the two sides reaffirmed their commitment to a world free of nuclear weapons.
아울러 저는 한반도와 동북아 지역의 항구적 평화와 안정을 위한 열쇠는 한반도 평화 통일에 있음을 강조했으며 이란 측은 한반도 평화 통일을 위한 한국 국민의 열망에 대해 지지를 표명해 주었습니다.
Iran supports peace in the Korean Peninsula and is against any type of nuclear development. Our principle is that there should be no dangerous nuclear weapons in the Middle East or on the Korean Peninsula.
Just hours after her summit talks with Rouhani, President Park sat down with Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's highest figure in religion and politics. At the symbolic meeting as the first non-Muslim female leader to visit Iran, President Park and Khamenei shared a common view of developing bilateral relations. President Park also carried out her usual ritual while on an overseas trip. She attended a business forum to link Korean companies with local buyers, stressing the importance of culture at an exchange event, and meeting with overseas Koreans to encourage them to build bridges between the two countries. Her last step before boarding the plane was a visit to Iran's National Museum to gain a deeper understanding of Persian culture and its legacy. With the Iran trip under her belt, President Park Geun-hye completed a chain of visits to Iran, Turkey, and the Arab nations during her term, reinforcing her diplomacy in the Middle East. I'll see you back in Seoul. Kanyang.
You bet. Safe travels, Ji-sun. That was our Chung Jin-suk in Tehran shortly before taking off for Seoul. Thank you. Let's dig a little deeper into the business forum that was held in Tehran. According to Seoul's top office, that forum, which in essence worked as a matchmaking platform for hundreds of business groups from the two countries, is the biggest ever both in terms of size and the anticipated economic value under the current administration. Our Shin Se-min crunches some numbers.
It was one of the largest business-to-business gatherings ever held under the current administration, with the highest business results expected to roll in. Korea's presidential office said Tuesday that the major business forum held in Tehran, which included some 500 business delegates from South Korea and Iran, is expected to produce over $52 million worth of economic value. The Korean side was represented by President Park Geun-hye, Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se, Trade Minister Chu Hyung-won, and 236 Korean business leaders. There, 146 small and mid-sized enterprises, 38 large conglomerates, and 52 economic organizations, public firms, and hospitals from Korea inked over 30 deals. Experts say that the business forum was not only the largest ever, but also one that laid down a foundation of trust for Iranian businesses as President Park ensured the quality and the potential of Korean firms. Although the provisional deals may not all result in final projects, experts say Korean firms now have better footing in Iran.
Through outstanding skills and trust the Korean firms acquired before international sanctions on Iran, it is safe to say that Korean companies are likely to win more orders than its competitors, and that's what we'll see in the near future.
Korea's top office added that the favorable outcome of business talks and the positive attitude towards future deals are a clear result of strengthened trust between Korean and Iranian firms. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
Well, South Korea's top diplomat is traveling with the president on the state visit to Iran. Seoul's foreign ministry is putting particular emphasis on Iran's statement opposing North Korea's nuclear development, or in fact, Iranian President Rouhani said Iran opposes to any kind of nuclear development in the world, and it will send a strong message to the Kim Jong-un regime. Now, why and how? Our Kwon So-ah reports from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Seoul.
The South Korea-Iran summit is significant on a number of levels, but Seoul's foreign ministry sees particular value in Iran's stance on North Korea's nuclear weapons program. On Tuesday, the ministry spokesperson welcomed the joint statement by President Park Geun-hye and her Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani, which clearly states their opposition to any nuclear development, in addition to reaffirming their commitment to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which promotes nuclear disarmament and cooperation on the peaceful use of nuclear energy.
It's very meaningful that Iran, as a country that has traditionally amicable ties with North Korea, has, at a summit level, for the first time clearly stated its position on the North Korean nuclear issue and on our pursuit of peaceful reunification.
During the summit, President Rouhani also stressed that nuclear weapons cannot be used to strengthen security. That statement is a confirmation of the remarks made by Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif in November last year during Yoon Byung-se's first visit to Iran in 14 years as a South Korean foreign minister. Seoul's foreign ministry said Tehran's position, coming on the heels of the condemnation against the North's nuclear tests and missile launches at the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, which Minister Yoon and his Iranian counterpart attended in Beijing last week, sends an even stronger message of warning to North Korea. Kwon So-ah, Arirang News.
To complement President Park's trip to Iran, Korea's Culture Ministry lined up a series of events to promote the Korean wave, or the culture of Korea, in the Middle Eastern country. Now, the president hopes these events will also support closer diplomatic ties. Our Kim Min-ji shows us how thousands of visitors are eager to get a taste of Korea.
K-culture is being embraced in the heart of Iran. Some 3,000 visitors flocked to Korea Culture Week, which is being held in line with President Park Geun-hye's visit to the Middle East nation. The program offers an array of events that promote Hallyu, or the Korean wave. Visitors get the chance to experience Korea through delicacies like the fermented vegetable dish kimchi. Visitors can also try on traditional clothing or hanbok, learn more about herbal medicines, and take part in an exhibition on Korean art. Screenings of popular Korean dramas are also a big draw. Many visitors expressed hope to be able to watch these K-dramas at home, which could be very soon, as Iran's state-run broadcaster is looking into buying the rights to broadcast them locally. President Park Geun-hye also carried out cultural diplomacy during her visit, attending a concert by Korean and Iranian artists, as well as a demonstration of the Korean traditional martial art Taekwondo.
우리가 이렇게 두 나라가 소중하게 갖고 온 이 인연이 앞으로 더욱 발전하면서 또 양국 국민들의 우정이 더 돈독해지기 위해서 이것은 문화를 통해서 그렇게 갈 수 있다고 생각을 합니다.
The Korean government said it will open a Korean culture center in Tehran next year and work to further enhance cultural ties. Korea will also build a complex, tentatively named K-Tower, in the capital to promote the Korean wave. The complex will offer classes on Korean language or Taekwondo and will also have Korean restaurants and shops. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Over at Korea's National Assembly, there's been a flurry of political action this Tuesday. The ruling Saenuri Party has chosen its new floor leader, who will assume the role of leading the ruling Conservative Party out of crisis. While the main opposition Minju Party of Korea, the Minju Party of Korea, has decided when to hold its party convention to elect a new chairman. Now, for more on that, we connect with our parliamentary correspondent Park Ji-won. Ji-won, give us the details.
Good evening, Gyeongbokgung. Ruling Saenuri Party lawmakers have elected fellow four-term lawmaker-elect Chung Jin-suk as their new floor leader and his running mate Kim Bokgung as the party's chief policymaker. In a vote that was held after more than 2 hours of policy debates, Chung, a former journalist and senior presidential secretary, garnered 69 votes from his fellow lawmakers to win the position. Another political heavyweight, Na Kyung-won, earned 43 votes, while former fisheries minister and four-term lawmaker Yoo Ki-jun received just 7 nods. The 55-year-old politician, known for his communication skills and ability to receive broad support across factions, vowed to revamp the party, along with his experienced chief policymaker Kim Bokgung. The new floor leader said he ultimately hopes to contribute to the party's victory in the next presidential election.
As the Park Geun-hye administration is entering its 4th year, we will try to secure new driving forces of state affairs, aiming to achieve many accomplishments. For this goal, we plead with fellow lawmakers to focus on cooperation and communication.
The main opposition also held a special meeting of all its recently elected lawmakers Tuesday afternoon. The Minju Party of Korea unanimously decided to hold its next convention either at the end of August or early September to elect the liberal camp's new leadership. Current interim leader Kim Jong-in will continue to lead the party until then. The minor opposition People's Party, which already confirmed veteran Park Ji-won as the next floor leader, has begun a series of educational seminars to prep its first-term lawmaker-elects. The sessions cover diverse topics from economy, welfare to security and aim to ensure they are able to fulfill their legislative duties to the best of their abilities. Meanwhile, the main opposition Minju Party of Korea is set to elect a new floor leader Wednesday afternoon, replacing current floor leader Lee Jong-gol. Gyeongbokgung?
Thank you, Ji-won, for that. Now, it's looking increasingly likely North Korea could conduct another nuclear test in the run-up to or just around its rare party congress. That's set for Friday. Seoul is certain that the regime is ready to carry it out anytime. Our Kim Myung-gil shares with us the latest findings.
The South Korean military has once again confirmed that North Korea is ready to conduct a nuclear test at any time.
Even after international warnings since its 4th nuclear test, North Korea is prepared and has the capability to conduct a 5th nuclear test at any time.
Defense Minister Han Min-gu, speaking at a Parliamentary Defense Committee meeting on Tuesday, echoed earlier projections and said the test is likely to come sometime around the North Workers' Party Congress set for Friday. He also said the North Punggye-ri nuclear test site appears ready for a new test. The defense minister sought to assure lawmakers that the military is ready to respond to provocations from the north and would not only mobilize its military but join forces with the United States. He also said the South Korean military is stepping up its anti-submarine capabilities in conjunction with the U.S. Army, in light of the North test of a submarine-launched ballistic missile last month.
The Joint Chiefs of Staff of South Korea and the U.S. are discussing how to counter SLBM attacks from North Korea. We're working on how to execute a quicker response time.
In addition, Han touched on the deployment of the THAAD U.S. missile defense system, saying Seoul will provide the land and facility for the system, while the U.S. will bear the operational costs. Han also discussed the ministry's analysis of North Korea's fourth nuclear test in January. He said no xenon isotopes, which are part of an H-bomb signature, have been found, meaning that the bomb detonated was atomic. Kim Bokgung, Arirang News.
In just a few days, the world might be able to get a clearer look at what North Korea has in store for its future. Maybe not. The reclusive state is gearing up to convene a rare meeting of its ruling Workers' Party, marking the first national congress in 36 years. Our correspondent in charge of North Korean affairs, Connie Kim, takes us through the preparations and possible schedule for Pyongyang's highest-profile political event.
North Korea's ruling Workers' Party Congress will be days of briefings on its accomplishments. There will also be elections of relatively young officials who will help regime leader Kim Jong-un strengthen his grip on power. A source familiar with the North, who provided a sketch of the schedule for the event, said the convention that starts Friday is likely to last 3 to 4 days. The first day will begin with an opening speech and a rundown of accomplishments from the Central Committee, which supervises and organizes all party affairs and manages finances. The second day will consist of a briefing of achievements from the party's Central Auditing Commission, which inspects the party's financial management. That day is expected to include the bulk of their agenda, as party members are expected to discuss and decide on new policies and adopt a statement. On the third day, the party will elect officials for both the Central Committee and Central Auditing Commission, where current aides from the Kim Jong-un regime are expected to be replaced with younger officials. Because Day 3 falls on a Sunday, it's not known whether the event will proceed through the weekend or skip a day and continue on Monday. The source said Congress participants have already gathered in Pyongyang, which is under tight surveillance for this special event. Border cities with China are also under close watch. In the run-up to the party Congress, North Korea announced on Tuesday that it had successfully ended its 70-day battle campaign to boost production, despite suffering under multiple layers of international sanctions for its nuclear missile tests. According to the North's Dodong-Shinmun newspaper, it topped production records in electricity, transportation, and coal. But a South Korean government official has dismissed those claims, pointing out that production in the North is very limited as it depends solely on human labor. The preparations for North Korea's ruling Workers' Party Congress are almost complete. The officials elected and the message delivered, likely to focus on economic development, are expected to lay the groundwork for North Korea's future. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
It's been 2 months since the international community imposed a never-before-seen tough UN sanctions on North Korea. Now, China has traditionally been reluctant about pressuring its only ally, or North-only ally China has been reluctant about pressuring the North. But it seems like China may have changed its stance this time around. Our Hwang Woo-jun tells us why.
Is longtime ally China now turning its back on its hermit neighbor? Less than 2 months since the UN imposed strong economic sanctions on North Korea, Chinese tourism to the north has fallen significantly. North Korea's fourth nuclear test in January and continued belligerent acts have come at the cost of the regime's cash flow, especially after China pledged to carry out the UN sanctions.
As a permanent member of the UN Security Council, China fully and comprehensively implements relevant Security Council resolutions.
And now, Chinese travel agencies that once provided North Korean tour packages are seeing the impact.
Recent years, there is not a lot of Chinese tourists go to North Korea.
According to major travel agencies in China, 45 out of 52 agencies allegedly scrapped their North Korean tour packages. Experts in Korea say Beijing's stricter policy towards Pyongyang has affected the Chinese people's perception of North Korea.
Still being a communist society, China's foreign policies are filtered through party officers and the elites of society. This in turn influences public perception, whether direct or indirect.
However, it may be too soon to assume China has completely turned away from its frenemy. When calling some of the travel agencies pretending to be a prospective tourist,
the North Korea tourists, it's normal. We have tourists always. No problem.
Okay.
You can go there, no problem.
canceled tour packages were suddenly an option again. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.
Now, here in South Korea, heavy rains and strong winds swept across the nation today. No one was seriously injured, but the intense weather caused traffic jams and many flight cancellations throughout the nation. And the winds aren't expected to let up just yet. Kim Hye-sung has more.
Strong winds and heavy rains shake trees on the streets. People grip their umbrellas even tighter. And while the rain has eased, wind advisories are still in effect. The storm hit Korea's southernmost Jeju Island the hardest on Tuesday, with wind blowing up to 20 meters a second. Jeju was drenched with 400 millimeters of rain, which along with high winds badly damaged homes and businesses. More than 14,000 passengers were stranded at Jeju International Airport on Monday night. Flights resumed late Tuesday morning, and an extra 60 flights to and from Jeju have been scheduled for travelers who were delayed by the storm. According to the Korea Airports Corporation, rough weather also led to the cancellation of 96 flights as of Tuesday afternoon at Busan's Kimhae International Airport. A high seas warning has also been issued, limiting ships from traveling in and out of Busan for 8 hours. Along streets, wind blew apart signposts and leveled trees, which caused traffic jams. The Korea Meteorological Administration is warning the public to take caution when outdoors or on the road, as strong gusts and rain are expected to continue through tomorrow. Kim Hye-sung, Arirang News.
A state-run support center tasked with nurturing Korea's fledgling financial technology sector has opened its doors in southern Seoul today. For struggling fintech startups, the new center may just be what's needed to help them get off the ground. Our tech correspondent Kim Ji-yeon went there to check it out herself.
From barter currency to plastic cards, the way we pay for goods and services has been constantly evolving, and it's believed whoever provides the next payment method will be ahead of the game to lead the global consumer market. The gold rush is evident in Korea, one of the most wired countries in the world, and the government is pulling up its sleeves to give local startups a boost. The Fintech Security and Authentication Technology Support Center is set up to boost startups in the fintech or financial technology sector. The center will provide a broad range of support to help startups turn their creative ideas into real businesses, helping to transform the country into a global fintech powerhouse. The center is spread out on some 530 square meters of the Korea Internet and Security Agency, or KISA, building. It will provide space to test fintech programs as well as consultative services to a selected group of startups to strengthen technology security functions, using the 11 IT platforms provided by 9 business entities and state-run institutions, including KISA.
The center is expected to boost the IT startup ecosystem in Korea, which currently lacks convergence and necessary information sharing among related companies and government agencies.
The Vice Minister of the Ministry of Science, ICT and Future Planning also paid a visit to the center, vowing to boost the country's fintech sector, which is expected to contribute to the government's creative economy initiatives.
By minimizing regulations on fintech, the ministry hopes IT startups turned giants like China's Alibaba will emerge from Korea in the near future.
The vice minister says the fintech industry is taking center stage in neighboring China and worth an estimated $400 billion. Globally, investment in fintech grew 26% annually over 5 years up to 2013, when it stood at $3 billion. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Former Commerce Minister of Korea Lee Hee-bum has been nominated the new president of the Organizing Committee for the 2018 PyeongChang Olympics. Lee serves as an advisor for LG International Corporation and previously headed the Korea Productivity Center. Now he'll be officially elected at the Organizing Committee's next General Congress. Lee is the third person who will head the committee after Cho Yang-ho stepped down from the position earlier today. Cho, Hanjin Group chairman, which also owns Korean Air, has chosen instead to focus his efforts on Hanjin Shipping, which is currently facing a major crisis. Now, shifting our focus a little bit, Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul will be lit up and open for visitors all evenings all throughout this month, giving visitors another way to appreciate the ancient treasures within. Our Lee Ji-won takes us there.
Kunjeongjeon Hall shimmers under the moonlight as colorful lights illuminate the main throne hall at Gyeongbokgung Palace. It's a serene atmosphere and projects a different kind of beauty than in the daytime. Despite a chilly wind, a crowd of visitors ventured out to enjoy a special evening tour of the royal palace.
It's nice to be out with my family, and with the lights on, the palace looks much more amusing too.
The palace is opening its doors for night tours for a month this spring through June 2nd. It's one of only 4 times a year the palace is open at night. Gyeongbokgung Palace was once home to the kings and queens of the Joseon dynasty. Despite it having been demolished by the Japanese in the early 20th century, it was restored in 1990 and now it stands as the biggest and grandest of the 5 palaces in Seoul.
The tour takes guests through 6 sites, including Gyeongwon Pavilion, one of the most famous of the palace structures and a national treasure.
The name Gyeonghwa means festival, and the pavilion is where kings once held banquets and feasts for foreign envoys and other special guests. Surrounded by a glass-like pond, it's also a popular photo spot for visitors.
It was actually great. I mean, we were very impressed and about how it looks. This is really amazing. It's just huge. Colorful.
To preserve the palace, only 2,800 visitors are allowed every night, and there are 550 tickets for foreigners and senior citizens who will need to line up to buy their tickets on the day they visit. All other visitors have to make a reservation, but the spots book up fast, so it pays to make plans in advance. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News.
Hot and trending in Korea's business community these days and among Iran's business people are each other's market and financial capacity. In Korea, the second China oasis in the Middle East, the Blue Ocean, you can call it whatever you want, but that's how the Iranian market is called and considered for local businesses. Firms vying for a good portion of the uncharted pie or market, I should say. Our news feature tonight with Kwon Jang-ho.
Introducing Dentist, a medical solutions company in Daegu, Korea. And this is its CEO and founder, Mr. Shim Ki-bong. The entrepreneur founded the company in 2005, and as the company became successful, he looked towards growth overseas. But when he was approached about stepping into the Iranian market, he said he was hesitant at first.
I didn't know what to expect, and it was only once I started doing business there that I realized the true growth potential of the country.
Mr. Shim discovered the potential of the Iranian market through these dental implants. He sold $3 million worth to Iran alone last year and is now looking for further success there through other medical technologies. With a population of 80 million, the second largest in the Middle East after Egypt, and with more than half of the Iranian people under 30 years old, the market potential is clear. The World Bank predicts Iran's GDP growth will jump from under 2% to almost 6% this year, and it's expected to grow even further next year. It's this kind of potential that is proving attractive for entrepreneurs like Mr. Shim. He is looking to expand his business in Iran to include medical lighting technology, and the company is also developing 3D printers for dentistry. Another Korean company, T+, is looking to emulate Dentist's success in Iran. T+ G Plus is a tech solutions company that's looking to provide medical IT services to Iranian hospitals. The company had been interested in expanding to the Persian state before, but it wasn't until this year, after international sanctions on the country were lifted, that CEO Lee Jong-ho was able to visit. He was impressed, to say the least.
The young population has made Iran a very modernized and cosmopolitan country. People are very open to adopting new technologies and cultures.
The two entrepreneurs aren't the only Koreans interested in the opportunities in Iran. Almost 150 SMEs representing 9 sectors are accompanying President Park Geun-hye on a historic trip to Iran as part of a special business delegation, the largest to ever travel with the president. They're looking to take advantage of a market that can be said to be ready-made for Korea, as the two nations were high-volume trade partners before the US-led sanctions came into effect. Korea's trade with Iran reached its peak in 2011 at over $17 billion. But by 2015, that number had fallen to $6.1 billion. With the lifting of the sanctions, many observers are expecting trade to return to and even surpass those previous levels. However, there are also concerns that Korea may be moving too fast too soon, with Iran's place in the international community by no means secure.
One thing that we do need to be careful is the possibility of sanctions being reinstated, a snapback situation. If Iran were to ever go back on their nuclear pledges, the international community could impose sanctions again.
And even without those concerns, there are other risks and challenges ahead.
The possibility of political instability within Iran also needs to be considered. Iran is also a state that has strict rules, regulations, and taxes that need to be navigated.
Mr. Shim said the key to success for him was being willing to work and share information and know-how with his local partners.
For other Korean businesses that want to succeed there, not only do your products have to be of high quality and available at a reasonable price, the transfer of techniques and localized production strategies also need to be considered.
The two countries are aware of the unique opportunity of being able to pick up and re-establish an old trade tie. Korean companies are wasting no time stepping back into Iran, and it's only a matter of time before Iranian companies do the same and come back to Korea. Kwon Jang-ho, Arirang News.
So quite a rough day in terms of the weather here in Korea today. Typhoon-force winds and rain swept across the entire nation as we reported earlier. For more on this, let's go over to our Lee Ji-hyun at the Weather Center. Ji-hyun, there are still many areas that are getting battered by the storm.
That is right. And if we get wind speeds of more than 17 meters per second, it's considered to be typhoon-force winds. But today's Seoraksan Mountain clocked strong gusts close to 35 meters per second, and strong winds advisories are still in place across much of the country and will remain till tomorrow afternoon. But unlike today's gloomy, blustery weather, mostly sunny skies are in the forecast for Wednesday, along with warmer temperatures. So let's take a closer look. Daily low here in Seoul will start out at 10 degrees Celsius. Busan and Jeju will kick off at 15 and 16. And as for the daily highs, Seoul will top out at 20 degrees Celsius. Daegu and Busan and Jeju will see a high of 24 degrees Celsius. Now the weather outlook for the upcoming long weekend doesn't look too promising. Pleasant weather is in the forecast for Children's Day on Thursday, then showers may fall on Friday, then yellow dust will sweep in over the weekend. And for those who will be hitting the roads for the Golden Weekend, the Transportation Ministry has announced that traffic will be at its worst on the morning of Children's Day and Saturday afternoon. But ferries will be running an extra 171 more times, so you know that could be an option as well. That's Korea for you, and here's international weather for viewers around the world.
And that is our broadcast on this Tuesday night. For those of you here in Korea, make sure you stay safe from the weather. I'm Moon Gun-young. Hope you enjoyed our show tonight. For our viewers in other parts of the world, have a good day. For those of you in Korea and across Asia, a good night from Seoul.